Alright guys, welcome to the video. You've seen the title of the video. All my Europe videos are now done, and I kind of just wanted to just talk a little bit about Europe, just share my thoughts on everything. Mainly want to talk about all the parks. I just want to talk about the main four parks that I thought were the best, and then just a little bit of the nuances of traveling to Europe and all that jazz. You know how that goes. Traveling to other countries is just a little bit different than traveling here in the United States. So, just wanted to make a little video here to talk about that. First things first, let's go over the parks that I thought were the best on our visit to Europe. Um, Definitely Alton Towers, of course. I'll talk about each of these parks individually as we get going. I just wanted to talk about each one real quick. Alton Towers, fantastic. Phantasialand or Phantasialand, however you would like to say it. Um, Spectacular park. I got a lot to say about it. Europa, of course. The hype was real, as I said in my vlog. Super real. It was just awesome. Love it. Love everything about it. And Efteling. What a superb example of a park and what a park can be. Not every park has to be Disney Universal level, and Efteling proves that just by the amount of detail and just amount of theming that they put into everything. It's just awesome. I absolutely love every bit of it. But let's talk about some of the other little nuances before we get into the parks. The smoking. The smoking was a little weird. If you're familiar here with the United States, you know, smoking areas are very common. Even Disney's gotten rid of their smoking areas, which I think is a little extreme. I don't think people should have to leave the park to smoke. I think it's a little extreme in my opinion. But you know, smoking is a lot more taboo here in the United States. Over in Germany, especially, um, smoking was just it was loud anywhere and everywhere. Even in queue lines, which that got a little annoying because people just kind of, you know, were smoking in the queue line. It doesn't help. It's not very polite, I guess. It's kind of rude. Um, but it's just a normality, and it's something I want to mention. And dogs, especially in Germany, dogs and Netherlands too. They love their dogs, man. Like it's serious. They really love it. We even went into a McDonald's that had a water dish that was full of water for the dogs. You know, so your dog could drink water while you were eating McDonald's or whatever. I just think stuff like that's cool. Um, you know, some people don't really like dogs that much. I think most people do, but you know, something I just want to mention because they love their dogs over in Germany. Germany, I keep mentioning Germany because a lot of this stuff, Germany definitely was the most interesting place that we visited. Um, we had a few surprises along the way too, like Parc Asterix in France was spectacular. Honestly, I mean, it wasn't like one of the top parks or anything, but just the fact alone of it was just a surprise. Like my dad nor I were expecting it to be as good as it was, and it was fantastic. They did a fantastic job, and better than Disneyland Paris. I really think so. You know, I've been thinking about it, and Disneyland Paris just didn't do it for me. It doesn't have now Main Street, and the castle. I can't think of the castle's name. I'm sorry. It has a French name. I apologize. I know it has Chateau in it. But the I'll put the whatever the castle's name is. I'll put it like right here. But anyways, the Main Street and the castle were fantastic. The dragon under the castle, I love it. It was awesome. But the rest of the park just you know, it's okay. Now the pirate like Skull Island type area was fantastic. I did love that too. The Adventureland or whatever that they have there was superb. But there's just little nuance things that just kind of like, like the fact of like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril or whatever. It doesn't belong at a Disney park. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And it's not the fact of what type of coaster it is. It's just it's not a good ride. Um, for example, like you wouldn't think a Mauer Spinner would be at a Disney park, but Crush's coaster was super well themed and fantastic. I loved Crush's coaster. Thought it was awesome. Um, but over at the Studio Park in Paris, the Crush's coaster, I loved it. I definitely recommend it, even if it's an hour wait. We had to wait an hour for it. It was totally worth it. Um, but just little things like that. Now, missed the Phantom Manor. Get out of here, man. That ride is superb. I loved it. Definitely my favorite thing on Disneyland Paris property, bar none. There's none of the other attractions there were as good. Um, Kind of sad to see Rock and Roller Coaster go there. I actually really enjoyed that one. I'm sure the Iron Man ride will be great, but anyways, just wanted to mention that. But yeah, there's all kinds of little nuanced things in Europe that was just different. Um, One of the biggest things was like in the Netherlands. Things were like people. One thing I can say about Europe is France sometimes not so much. Outside of Paris, France was actually really everybody was really nice in France. I didn't care much for Paris. It just I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it was just my experience. Maybe I'll make it back there one day. Now Disneyland Paris was fine. Everything was fine there, but I'm talking about like the actual city itself. Um, but everybody outside of France. But anyways, most of Europe, like everybody was super friendly to us. Germany, Netherlands, UK, France, like 99% of the time, everybody was extremely friendly to us, and it was nice. And I think that most Europeans are friendly people, and it was a good experience in that respect. Just different culture. I mean, there's certain little things that are just different, like with the dogs and the smoking. It's just different. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just you know, it's just a different situation. Now I will say that when you're actually like you know walking around in the parks, it doesn't really feel much different. Especially if you're used to going to like Orlando parks, you're used to hearing people speak other languages anyways, because people coming all over the world. So like when you walk around, you hear like French or you hear German or you hear Dutch. It doesn't really feel too much different because you hear that stuff anyways. So that whole experience wasn't too bad. The language barrier was non-existent really for us. We had a few mishaps, not really mishaps, but just miscommunications in France. We had a few places in France that some of the people there didn't speak any English. That's not their fault. We speak English. That's their country. They speak French. That's not. I don't blame them at all. I don't expect them to speak. I don't expect them to speak English. I just don't. But even then, like most people in France still spoke English, and it helped us out tremendously. Everybody in German that we talked to, everybody in Germany that we talked to spoke English, at least somewhat of it. Same with the Netherlands, of course UK, that's their language, but um, it was just interesting. It was an interesting experience. But anyways, enough of that. I might go into a little bit more detail on a few other things here in a minute, but I want to talk about the parks. The four big ones. Let's talk about Alton Towers a little bit. Alton Towers was spectacular. If you watch my vlog, you know that Nemesis kind of didn't live up to the hype for me. I don't see how people say that it's their favorite. To my opinion, Montu will always be the best. I don't know if anyone will ever beat that. Banshee's number two for me. Um, I don't know. I just don't like Nemesis. I can't say that it's better than Great Bear. I think Great Bear is a fantastic inverted coaster. There's just a lot of them. Raptor, Cedar Point. You start getting into some heavy hitters, and you bring Nemesis, and it's good. But I don't think it's like superb, the best. I don't think it's the best. Everything else was just great. The park was beautiful. It was just nice. It was everything I wanted it to be. I didn't like them closing at 4:45 or whenever it was they closed. They were going to close at 4, but they extended it for a little while. That's just weak operating hours. When the park was packed and you're scheduled to close at 4 p.m. Something's wrong with that little scenario. Now that Alton Towers, Merlin is a private company again, hopefully the shareholders won't have no more say, because I'm sure that's that's probably had a lot to do with all that, because that's just terrible operations. Um, By operations, I'm talking about the operating times. The actual ride ops were fantastic. Everything about Alton Towers was great. Enjoyed every little bit of it. I would love to have like 2 or 3 days to spend at Alton Towers just to explore everything and just take time because we were rushed just a little bit. I'm glad we did what we did though because we had other parks to go to, and Alton Towers was definitely one of the bigger ones, but we have other things we wanted to do. So I'm glad we only spent one day there, but I could easily spend 2 or 3 days at Alton Towers. No doubt in my mind. Fantastic resort, and I'm sure staying on site is fabulous as well. I will say getting to Alton Towers was kind of weird. When it's like out in the middle of nowhere kind of. And you got to really go through these really small towns to get to it. So it's like the roads are very, very, very skinny. Roads in Europe, anyways, that's another experience that I want to talk about really quick. Roads in Europe are so much smaller than they are here in the United States, and parking spaces are the same way. Like, we're not used to that. Here in the United States, everything's big. We got, giant 4-lane expressways with the lanes are huge. 4 lanes on each side and stuff. It's just not like that in Europe. One really good example is like in Germany, there was a lot of construction, and they had 3 lanes normally, on each side of the autobahn. But whenever the construction starts, they would cut a lane off, but they would still try to have 3 lanes, and they would like squash it all together. It was a mess. Passing like semi trucks up and stuff was crazy. But that was just one of those things. But anyways, yeah, Alton Towers. Superb, everything. If you go to the UK, you have to go to Alton Towers. It's just a fact. Super enjoyed the park. Definitely one of my favorite parks I've ever been to. But let's talk about next park on the list, which let's say Europa. Europa is another world, man. Everything about that park is so detailed, and just every little nook and cranny. I could probably spend 4 days at that park and not see everything that the park has to offer. I just couldn't. That park is so jam packed, full of content, so full of theming, so full of things to do. You could literally spend almost a week at that park. I'm not lying. I'm not saying I would. I think I could spend 2 days there. Comfortably, like really, like that'd be 2 full great days. But if someone said, well, let's spend 4 days there, let's just say it wouldn't bother me at all. I could do a lot of filming, a lot of picture taking. It would be spectacular. Blue Fire, great coaster. Woden, oh man, awesome GCI. Arthur's area, the little Arthur themed area, that one of the most innovative ride experiences I've ever been on. Just spectacular. Just awesome. Europa is an awesome park. Silver Star, great clamshell. There's no such thing as a bad clamshell, but you get my point. But yeah, just Europa is just awesome. I absolutely love everything about it, and I'll take that back. I don't love everything. The merchandise is very weak. I don't know what it is, but take the Merlin parks out of Europe. Like, Merlin had great merchandise, but other than that, all the European parks merchandise was just kind of like, I mean, it wasn't great. I know some people don't care about merch, but I do. It's my little token that I can take home with me and remember it. Little things that mean a lot to me. I know it might sound silly and materialistic, but I like my merch. I do. I enjoy looking. Like, you guys can see all my pins back here. And I got all my little patches over here. That stuff means a lot to me. You can also see a few of my little things over. You can see my whole wall here. I like to look at my stuff that I've collected. I'm a big collector. I'm into music too. I like to collect music and stuff. But I like to collect. And when parks don't have good merch, it makes me feel kind of sad, because that's one of my things I love to do. I have these big books of pins from all the places that we've been. And it really makes me miss. It makes me miss the park, but it also helps me remember it, and let me know. Kind of just remind me. I enjoy that. But the merch at Europa wasn't too hot. It was probably the worst out of all the parks that we went to, except for maybe like Adventure Island. but that's a little baby pier park, a little coastal park. I don't expect them to have super great merch. Although I did get some really cool little figures from there, so I can't say too much, can I? But anyways, let's move on. Don't want to talk about these too much. Let's talk about Phantasialand or Phantasialand. Not sure how you say it. I've heard it both ways. So I like to call it Phantasialand. I think it just more rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Um, Talk about superb theming. I mean, it's the gold standard. A lot of the theming levels, while not as immersive, are on par with Disney Universal level of theming. So is Efteling. We'll get to that here in a minute. But there's just little nuances where I don't think it's as good. There's just certain areas of the park where it's kind of like, but 98%, I'm not going to say 99, but 98% of the park is just beautiful. Rookburg, I would love to go back to, try that out one day. A launched flying coaster sounds fantastic. But Rookburg is going to be the new area. I think that's going to look really cool. I can't wait to see the videos. I'm sure Sean from Theme Park Worldwide will do some great coverage. Plenty of coverage is what I was going to say. So I'll have to check some of his stuff out. But, Phantasialand is just awesome. Terran, right into my top 10 coasters, man. I mean, it is just, Terran was awesome. I loved every bit about it, and it was just superb. Just awesome place. I wish we could have rode Talican, the little top spin that they have there. From Hoos or whatever, the little themed, flips upside down stuff. But that was closed. But everything about that park is just spectacular. It's another one of them parks that have just so many nooks and crannies. Like, you could just spend multiple days there and not see everything. Like, there was a dark ride that we missed. I had no idea where it was even at. Like, good Lord. But it's awesome. Phantasialand's one of my favorite parks. All four of these parks I've jumped into my favorite parks category. Up there with Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Silver Dollar City, Dollywood, those type of parks. It's jumped right up in there. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. But anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about Efteling a little bit. Now, Efteling, wow. Efteling might have been my favorite park in Europe. My dad's favorite park was Phantasialand, which I completely understand. That park is awesome. But Efteling is something to behold. There was just something, I had a feeling at that park. There was just something about it. Baron 1898, oh my goodness. 2 pre-shows, an animatronic for a dive coaster. Won't ever be done anywhere else. I just love that stuff. And the Flying Dutchman, the Hollander attraction. The boat. If you watch my vlog, it was like their splash boat roller coaster. I believe it's the Flying Dutchman. Somebody told me it was the Flying Dutchman is what it translated to. That ride, some of the effects like on the boat and the queue. Oh man, the queue was just ridiculous. Everything about it was just nuts. Like, they had a really good Vekoma custom. I mean, I know they fixed it. They did a big major refurb to do that, but still, like, come on. Like, it's just awesome. I would love to go there one of those nights that they close at 11, so I could watch, like, all the nighttime stuff. Efteling was just awesome. Everything about the park was superb, fantastic. Kind of sad that Bob's getting taken out, but I'm sure the new, I think it's like a dueling coaster or something, Max and something other than another. Can't remember, but I'm sure it'll be great. But Bob was cool. It's not too many times you can just say, yeah, let's go ride Bob. That just sounds funny. It's kind of goofy. But anyways, Efteling is out of this world. It's a great, great park, and if you're anywhere near the Netherlands, you have to stop and go. There's nothing else like it. It's Efteling. Like, honestly, you can't compare it to anything. It's Efteling, and that speaks for itself. So, anyways, guys, I think that might about do it. So many different experiences in Europe. If you have any questions, make sure you ask. If you have any specific questions, I can try to answer your questions. Or, if you got little things like language barrier questions, like how did it go driving, SIM cards, anything like that, just ask below, and I'll try to get back with you. I try to answer all my comments, if I can. But if you have any questions, please ask away. I learned a lot from this trip, and it really taught me a lot about traveling overseas, and it's got me excited to go to Japan now. I'm ready. We need to go to Japan. We've been wanting to go to Europe, and we finally did, and now we've been wanting to go to Japan also, and I hope we get to go pretty soon. It's looking really good over in Japan. Like, Steel Dragon 2000 has been on my mind for years now, and it's just something that I want to accomplish. I want to hit Japan up and do all the things over there. Maybe hit up Hong Kong and Shanghai while we're at it, which I would love. Ugh, Shanghai Pirates. Ugh, y'all have no idea how bad I want to ride Shanghai Pirates. Like, it is. Ugh, I just want to. Ugh, I want to shake a pirate. It just makes me. I just want to ride it so bad. I'm just joking around. I ain't really like irking or nothing, but it's just. It does irk me a little bit because the Shanghai Pirates, I've heard nothing but good things about it. But anyways, guys, I think that is going to do it for my little Europe talk. I just wanted to talk a little bit overview here about my trip. Anyways, y'all know the content coming up. You've already seen a couple of my videos. You'll see Six Flags Great America and Santa's Village, Zoosman Park, which was a lot of fun. So hopefully you enjoyed that. But plenty more content to come. Got some more HHN stuff coming up. Florida content, just general Florida content, just all that jazz. Everything's looking great. I'm looking forward to it. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a little talk about Europe. I hope that you enjoyed my little talk here. And if you have any questions, like I said, please leave me a comment down below, and I'll get back with you. But other than that, as always, you can follow me on my Instagram at Daily Theme Park Photos. You can also follow me on Twitter, same as my YouTube channel name. Or you can follow me on TikTok at Corey Says Yo, if you are so inclined. But that's going to do it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my little talk here. I know it was just me talking, just a little talking head video, but I hope you enjoyed. I needed to talk about it, and I'm glad that I can have this outlet to do that. And hopefully some of you all enjoy and maybe learn something. But anyways, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.